Hello and welcome to this edition of Ringside Digest. I'm your host Kirk Day, along with my host Nick Miller. And in this video, we're going to go over the last 2 days of NHL playoff games. Over the last 2 days, we had one game on each day, so we figured we'd just do one video for both games because it would have been not enough time to make a video on each of them. Wasn't too much to happen. Pretty dominant games, so we're going to be going over those in this video. We're at the end, we're also just going to do a little schedule of the games we have slated for tonight. Pretty good games that we're going to have coming. So, before we get to this video, make sure to subscribe if you want to see more content like this and all throughout the playoffs, because we have some very, very exciting stuff planned, like I've been saying in every video. We also seen you guys like the Gerard Gallant announcement video yesterday, so if you want to see more stuff like that, make sure to subscribe and let us know, because we can certainly post more stuff like that. We like doing stuff like that, breaking news stuff, and going over what we think could happen for games like that and stuff and teams. So, that's pretty much what we got. If you like it, make sure to like the video and make sure to subscribe if you want to see more stuff like that. And without any further ado, we're going to go into the games that we have scheduled. One was 2 days ago, and one was yesterday. We're going to go over the first game, which was, I believe, May 5th, between the Hurricanes and the Devils. I gotta say, another pretty dominant performance by the Carolina Hurricanes here. They take this one 6-1, lead the series 2-0. Like I said, it was very, very dominant. You know, the Devils couldn't even do much again. It wasn't like the first game. They had a few more shots than one in the first period. But similar to game 1, Akira Schmid chased from the net again. At this game, he got taken out, I believe, at the beginning of the third period. I didn't think he played the third. He only played the first 2 periods. Something got to change for the Devils if they want to come back in this series. You know, similar situation. What happened to the Rangers? They were down 2-0 against the Rangers, and we see how they bounced back. They're going to have to do this. But for the Hurricane side of it, you know how we've been talking about how many injuries they have. They've been absolutely littered with injuries throughout this whole playoff run, even before with Svechnikov. And then you got Teravainen, I believe it was, who broke his hand. Big losses there. Pacioretty tore his Achilles, I believe it was, 3 games back in the season. Some big losses. But they got players like Jesperi Kotkaniemi, who are very much stepping up in the playoffs this year. He had 2 goals last night. He was pretty slow the first round, but 2 goals last night in pretty much 2 minutes, back to back. Big performance by him to get this win for the Hurricanes. The Devils are going to have to tighten up their defense, though, because the Hurricanes are playing very well offensively. They're going to have to tighten. They're going to have to get more offense, too. They got to get more pressure, because the Hurricanes they've been doing what they want, really, with the puck. I think the Devils had upwards of 20 shots last night still, but it wasn't enough. You need to get more chances. The Hurricanes are just too good as a team. The team's been pretty much the same for the past 3 years, just working together, so they know how to play well together, even with injuries. People coming in and out of the lineup, they're used to it. So the Devils are going to have to change something. But yeah, what do you think about this game, Nick? What do you think the Devils are going to have to change?
Well, I think about just about everything. They haven't scored on the power play. They allowed the Hurricanes to go 1 for 2 last game. The Hurricanes are a well-structured team, a lot well-structured than I thought they were. I didn't give them enough credit because Svechnikov and the guys are hurt, but I mean, I had Devils in 5, so I look like a moron right now. The Devils are making me look bad now. I betted against them in the first round. Now I'm betting for them in this round. They can't. They're not performing for me, but they're gonna have to switch up a lot of things for Game 3. They're gonna have to start getting goaltending. I would expect Vitek Vanacek to start the next game. I don't think you can start as Akira Schmid after that. After getting pulled 2 straight games, that's just unacceptable. It's eerily similar to the first round against the Rangers. So we'll see if the Devils can pick it up and maybe complete a comeback like they did in the first round.
Yeah, what a storyline it will be if that's the case. Devils have looked good at the end of that series, but they looked out of it at the first 2 games. We were talking about it between us and Noah that there was a possibility the Rangers would sweep the Devils, but we see how that played out now that we're in round 2. So we'll see what happens tonight in Game 3 and then so on for the rest of the series. But we're going to go to our second game here, which was yesterday, May 6th, between the Oilers versus the Golden Knights. This game was a very, very big bounce-back game for the Edmonton Oilers. They take this one 5-1 and tie the series up 1-1, heading back to Edmonton. The power play was the story of this game for the Edmonton Oilers. I know Nick has the stats here. I don't know exactly how many goals were scored on the power play. I know it was majority of them, though. But Leon Draisaitl, man, I don't even know what to say about him. The guy is absolutely cracked this playoffs. He's on pace to break the single-season playoff goal record if they do extend this a few games. I can see him doing it if it goes to Game 7, but they got to do it. I think he's at 13 right now in 8 games this playoffs. I believe the record is 19. So, I mean, we're 8 games in to his playoff run. We're gonna be seeing some crazy stuff from him, I'm sure, for the rest of the series, because he's been the backbone of this team. McDavid's been there. McDavid's been playing well, but he looked a bit hurt in that first round. You don't know what he's dealing with right now. But Draisaitl, he's just playing out of his mind. The whole Edmonton Oilers team is playing good. There's a bit of a skirmisher in those games too. A couple fights, Evander Kane hitting Keegan Kolesar in the ribs on the ground. I don't know what was happening on that one. But, this is a chippy series, and it's very, very entertaining for people who, especially with Vegas, where they have a bunch of people, they're a popular team, watching the games. It's a big tourist location. It's good for the game of hockey, seeing games like this, big playoff games as well. And the Oilers fans seem to have a big presence in the T-Mobile Arena, so it's going to be exciting to see what happens with this series. But, Nick, let me know, what do you think about this game as well?
Just quickly about Leon Draisaitl. I think that to beat this record in quick fashion like he's on pace to do would be something that's unprecedented in today's NHL, especially with, I believe that record was set back in the 80s or early 90s. I think it's by Jesperi Kotkaniemi. But I believe that record was set in the 80s, early 90s when the goalies basically wore, they wore Cheeto pads and stuff like that back then. Well, not really. That's a bit of an exaggeration. But at the same time, goals were up in the 80s. Goals are going up now, as you see. And Leon Draisaitl's got 13 in 8 games. That's crazy. Oilers power play went 3 for 6 in that game, and the Vegas power play went 0 for 3. So you see the power play is a big difference in this game. It's a difference between a 5-1 and a 2-1 game. So that's just absolutely ridiculous by the Oilers. The power play is at 60-something% this playoffs. I don't think you can take penalties against this team and expect to win a game. You really can't, unless you're planning on beating Stuart Skinner pretty handily in that game. I mean, you can't really expect to win it. You can't take penalties. That's just blatantly, that's it. Another thing about Draisaitl before I wrap up here, he was asked about that record, and he said what all great players are going to say when it comes down to it. I don't care. We have a goal here. We want to win. Connor McDavid said the same thing when he was chasing the 60 goals and the 150 points. I believe Connor Bedard said the same thing when he beat Jordan Eberle's record, or I think it was Lindros's record at the World Juniors for most points. So I believe that Draisaitl really doesn't care about that, and they're just going to go out and keep focusing on winning games. He'll keep trying to score goals, obviously, but it's not for the reason that to break a record. It's for the reason that he wants to win games.
Yeah, no, I do like that mentality as well. The mentality you have to go, especially in this time of the playoffs. The Oilers, that team, I want to see him go far. I really do. Yeah. This power play, what a story it'll be if they do end up going and win the cup. Having a power play, one of the best of all time. I believe it is, percentage-wise.
It is of all time.
That'd be crazy.
Percentage in the regular season.
Yeah, and
in the regular season, they had it was over 30% power play in the regular season, and that clocks in as the best of all time in percentage-wise.
Well, there you go. So whatever team the Oilers are playing against, they can't afford to take penalties, because if they do, it's not going to be looking good. With that kind of power play percentage and power play, the whole lines as well, both lines, both units, absolutely insane. They're playing well. It might not be as stacked as the second unit might not be as stacked as the first one, but they play well. They're going to be a good story to see with going on through the playoffs. See what Vegas changes, because it's kind of hard not to take penalties when you're getting bodied around like it was last game. The 10-minute misconducts you had there in those few fights, a few hits, a few slashes. When the tensions get high. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But that's all we got for this video. If you liked it, make sure to like the video, and also make sure to subscribe, like I said at the beginning of the video. If you want to see more stuff from us, we have some very, very fun stuff coming, Good time of the year. We have the draft lottery tomorrow, so we'll be doing something with that as well. So, if you hope you liked the video, thank you for watching.